And we're right on time. It is 7 p.m. here in cold, cold Montreal. It's not too bad, but it's pretty cold. Um, how's everybody doing? Welcome, everybody, to BioBridge, where we talk about connecting Japan and the US and the rest of the world in anything that has to do with life science, pharma, medtech, anything goes, anything's fair play as long as it's life science. How's Ibrahim doing?
Hi, doing well, doing well. It's cold here in Florida as well, almost zero Celsius, 32 at night. However, I
Really?
was in your neck of woods yesterday and
Oh, are you?
froze my behind. But I'm glad to be. I thought I would be glad to be back, but it's pretty cold here also.
Really?
Yeah.
And we have a very special guest. We should call him Song, which is it's a very nice name. We love songs. But
Yeah, it's fine to call me Song, simply.
great, great, great. Ibrahim introduced me to Song, and Ibrahim, you have a little word about how you met Song and why Song's on our guest or as a on the show as our guest today.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So yeah, Song and I connected over LinkedIn, I think a few months ago.
Okay.
And it was through an introduction from a someone who works at a consulting firm in competitive intelligence. So he had talked to Song, and I had talked to the other person, and somehow we just got entangled into this BD conversation. So we've been talking since then, and yeah, I suggested Song, since he's in Japan working at Chugai, that he should um, come to our live stream. So
There
finally
you
was
go.
able to convince him over the last 3 months, I think. He kept on
He's too busy.
yeah, I took him out to dinner and got him
Oh,
flowers and movie,
we
but
don't have budgets for that, do we?
just joking about all that. But I'm very happy to have Song here on our
Yeah.
live stream.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much for taking the time to be with us. We're very interested in discussing Chugai. I mean, BD and in out licensing in general in Japan, but Chugai is a special case. And if we can explore today a little bit of how Chugai came about and your success over the past few years has been phenomenal. When I was actually working in Japan, I was working for Eisai, and Eisai in those days was bigger than Chugai, but now the roles have flipped, and Chugai is much, much bigger today. So, yeah, a lot to talk about. Let's start. Some just a little bit about yourself and why you're in
sure.
Japan working for Chugai.
All right, all right. So yeah, thanks for hosting and hi everyone. I'm Song. As text mentioned on the bio page, my background is both health science and business strategy, and throughout my career, I've always been very fascinated by strategic alliances because a well-designed alliance can create some true win-win outcomes. So that theme has guided most of my decisions so far. So I actually started my career at a health science research institute at Korea University in Korea, working with the Korean government on healthcare regulation and policy. And back then, several decades ago, we didn't even have the term called digital healthcare. We just simply called it IT healthcare or like something IT plus healthcare because Korea uh, is very strong in IT technology. So they want to put IT to all the industries to find out something new, synergistic things. But I was already convinced that innovation often comes from outside the box, and that collaboration across sectors could solve some big healthcare challenges, and especially in pharma industry. All the players are very specialized in their own parts, and alliance is quite essential and inevitable across the value chain. So yeah, that's what I did in Korea, and also I learned that this industry is very heavily regulated industry. So it's not just about like money talks. It's about how to convince all the stakeholders, including governments and like payers and physicians, a lot of other stakeholders. And then from there, I moved to a Samsung Bioepis, which is a member of the Samsung Group. It was kind of like newborn baby at the moment, but baby with a very rich daddy. I focused on the corporate strategy, and I learned how a fast-moving biotech organization scales very globally. So Samsung Bio actually is a biosimilar company. That company started with a biosimilar because that's a very good target to use our quick catch-up strategy, which Korea is very good at. But it does not long forever. So at some moments, we have to jump into the more higher margin, more innovative industry. So I had to study how transform the like biosimilar based process and the company to a more innovative part. So during that period, I studied a lot, and that's the first time I realized the importance of business development in the area because I try to benchmark other successful firms, and they are always using the in-licensing or doing the mergers and acquisitions to get into one new part, new field. So I imagine the future that in the future there will be more polarized. The large pharma with a strong distribution channel and a negotiation power with payers and KOLs. And on the other side, very smaller, early stage focused, risk taking, small biotech companies who are discovering the molecules. And somebody should stand in the middle. So I thought BD will be a very playing a very key role in the future in the industry. I wanted to be a key person, of course. So I decided to move to the UK to join the company called PharmaVentures. It's a dual advisory company helping the clients. Clients are including all like healthcare companies, pharma companies, medicine companies, or CDMO manufacturing companies. And I help them like in licensing or out licensing and all the related processes, including like valuation and pricing estimation, etc. So I spent there for 3 years, and that experience helped me understand how different companies approach partnering and how assets are evaluated and how deals really happen. So this is one of the topics I want to cover today as well because I think it's a bit helpful for smaller biotech companies as well based in Asia, targeting the global market. And yeah, and finally in 2024, I decided Japan was the right place for my next chapter.
Oh, it's only very recent.
Yeah,
Okay.
very recent. I don't even speak Japanese.
Yeah. So we're gonna ask you about your experience there too.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
okay. But before we do that, let's say hello to our viewership. You already have a fan. Apparently, Doug has met you earlier this week.
oh
So say hello to
yeah,
Doug.
I know him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody knows Doug.
yeah,
So
yeah,
thank you for the folks tuning in. Or if you're watching this on a recording, do put in comments, questions. We'll be fielding those as we go. All right. So Song, you basically grew up in Korea, studied everything in Korea, started your career in Korea at Samsung,
yeah,
and then a few years ago you went to UK as your first sort of expat experience or living abroad, um, and then you finally came to Japan in 2024. So
yeah,
maybe 2 years, 2 years
yeah,
and a bit.
yeah.
Okay, well that's good. So that sort of explains your global trotting a little bit. But why Chew guys? I think somewhere we're gonna have to go into that little piece.
Yeah, I can very quickly say because I prepared this for my interview with Chugai actually. But uh,
You still remember it, huh? It was traumatic.
yeah, but thing is, I've always have a kind of like dream or ambition in my whole entire lifetime because when I was young, many of my friends who are very smart, they usually go to like U.S. college or U.S. MBA school, and some people going to UK to learn some to have some more advanced education system, and sometimes they were boasting that they are doing that. And at the moment, I was thinking that why should we go outside of Asia to be successful? And there was a big question mark to me, and the answer was quite simple. Somebody hundreds years ago or thousands years ago, I don't know, but lots of people have been committing or contributing or sacrificing a lot in their for their country long time ago. So they're like U.S. and European market. They've always already gone through their own golden age before, right? So they're very good. I also had an experience in London. I also very well know that it has a very amazing history, and also U.S. as well. But I don't want my next generation or next generation to feel the same thing that I felt. That to be successful, we have to leave our country. So I my lifetime dream is to bring the life science golden age to Asia. Of course, it cannot be done by myself, but it has to be a collaborative action. But for that,
You're
I
at the
think
right place. You're
yeah,
at the right place. We all want the same thing.
yeah. So yeah, I've always had a Asian pharma in my mind, but the only experience I had is Korean like biosimilar company. But I wanted to be more like Asian company, which means the company who maintains the core Asian value. I thought it was integrity and science. So I searched it a lot. At the moment as well, Chugai was not very known to me. So I searched it from like by using some internet or database and some finance records, and just found out that Chugai uh, discovered and developed many successful drugs, uh, currently sold worldwide by partners. And also, another thing I want to pursue is that the company should have a global mindset, or at least a global network. But there were many very nice, wonderful pharma companies in Japan, but Chugai had a very direct relationship with Roshu. I thought we can be utilizing that network to be more globalized, and we can use that channel to to exponentially grow. So yeah, that's why I picked the Chugai for my final destination. And the last concern was that can I survive without speaking Japanese? But fortunately, the department head of my department, which is the business insight and strategy department, the head uh, told me that the official language of this department is English. Everything is in English. So I was rest assured. And yeah, that's how I joined Chugai. And after I joined, I'm still learning a lot from the company, and it's very powerful. I made the right decision.
That's a
Good for you.
very cool story. No, thank you for sharing that. Now you mentioned Chugai and Roche. They have a relationship, um, and it's not, I guess, as well known as I thought it is. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so if you search the Chugai name on Google and move on to the image file, you can see the logo of the company. And there's Chugai Pharma either in kanji or in English. And there's another word below that, which is called Roshu Group. So, but I think we should enlarge the font of the Roche group. I think it's too small. But yeah, Chugai and Roshu entered into a very historic strategic alliance, which was not a very typical acquisition. Rather, it was kind of like the birth of very unique business model to designed to foster innovation, meanwhile maintaining independence. Because
Yes.
uh, all I've done is very similar with alliances from my college period. I all been on alliance topics, and licensing and M&A are also alliances as well. But this type of alliance, oh thanks for um, this type of alliance is quite different from other types because um, it was not a merger. It was a creation of kind of like mutually reinforcing global model. So Roshu takes around roughly 60% of share of Chugai. That means it's majority stake in general terms. But by contract, um, we mutually agreed to have our own autonomy in operation and managing the company. So um, in Japan, Chugai has a right to develop and market Roshu's pipeline. And globally, Roshu commercializes some of the Chugai origin products. And also, we have another one in North America, which is Genentech. Genentech is a fully owned
Yes.
subsidiary of Roshu as well. So we have a big offices in Asia, Europe, and America. And all these companies are sharing science, insights, and talents while maintaining the operational independence. So the thing is that many people ask me that, oh, Chuga's BD will be very, very simple and easy. You just develop and buy and sell with between Roshu and Chuga, and that's it. So what else do you do? But it's not. That's true if this alliance is just like typical like parent and subsidiary relationship, but we have our own right to make a decision. So we are making deals other than Roshu as well. So we licensed out companies like Eli Lilly, Galderma, or Verastem. So we are trying to maximize the potential of the asset by working with Roshi Group and outside of the Roshi Group as well at the same time. So when so by the market cap, so Hetsu told that he was in Asia and Chugai was not that huge at the moment. When
I mean, it was big. It was just smaller than ASI at the time. It was pretty big.
at that time Chugai was 10th largest pharma in Japan, 10th
Yes,
in
yes, yes.
by
Somewhere like
market. But now we are number one position in whole Asian pharma. That is driven by the successful alliance and also other
that. Yes.
very science-driven strategy of Chugai. Because when I study other like mid-sized or large-sized pharma companies, they have their own area, like therapeutic area or disease area. But Chugai is not disease or TA-driven company. We are only purely science and technology-driven company. So we covers actually wide range of the areas. So that's another point. And I think Tats know it much better than me. But in Japan, um, people stay so long in one company. When they enter one company, I saw that some people introduce himself to me in Chugai that I joined Chugai 4 years ago, so I'm a newbie of this company. In Korea or in the UK, 4 years is quite long in one company. But when I visit like some science park of Chugai, they have like 30 years or 35 years of
Yes.
experience. And I heard that someone introduced me that, hey, he's the originator of that drug. He's the
Yes.
originator of that drug. So this company has a full, very comprehensive knowledge of the drug development because people are contained means the knowledge and know-how are still stored in the company. It's kind of like end to end from the development to the commercialization, even after the commercialization until the like expiry. So this kind of knowledge was very tightly linked together in the organization. So I think those kind of things are very a good driver of the success of Chugai. But as Ibrahim said, that one of the biggest part is the virtuous cycle that Chugai is creating with the Boshu Group.
I think one very interesting aspect about Roche, Chugai, and also you mentioned Genentech is
Yeah,
how you guys as you said, it's this independence that's kept. I think that really helps because the culture at Chugai would probably not fit very well with, Roche.
Yeah,
You used to have Roche Japan back in the day, but they really just, they removed that and allowed Chugai to be the Japanese,
yeah,
for all intents and purposes, the Japanese sponsor. So when I first joined Covance back in 2012, my one of my first studies was actually with Genentech. But in Japan, Chugai was, the my counterpart that I had to work with. So
mm,
I've had a few friends in, all the way back from those days, interactions with Chugai and Genentech, but never with Roche. I've never worked with anybody in Roche. So those were very, very special relationships and special way of working together, and it works. So I
yeah,
think that's going to help with the success of Chugai and Roche and Genentech all
sure.
separately.
Yeah, yeah, you're on point. And one thing I want to mention about the culture, I would like to cover it later part about how Asian pharma should pursue the globalization. But one thing I worried before I joined Chugai was that the cultural difference between Japan and Western big pharma, um,
Even
and
Korea.
Korea as well. But
Yeah.
once I joined Chugai, I had a lot of one-on-one meetings to introduce myself. On the first week, I met like 40, 50 meetings. And some of them introduced them. Hi, I'm ABC from Roshu. I just wondered, why are you here? If you're Roshu, this is
Uh,
Chugai headquarters. So I learned that there's kind of like exchange student program between Roshu and Chugai. So these two companies are sending some members of the department to the counterpart, or they can choose some other similar departments in the counterpart. Stay there for years, 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. So in Japan, in headquarters, there are Roshu people here, and in Roshu, there are some Shugai people working there as well. So I think that's the way
oh,
to effectively understand the culture of two companies to get the good things and bring back into their own.
That's very cool. Um, you mentioned you wanted to talk about globalization later, but I'd love to know, like, do you think this is a very viable model of globalizing Japan? Is these kind of partnerships?
Yeah, I think it's because Japan has a too good technology. So you shouldn't stay in Japan. You should go out and be more influential all around the world. So I one of the reasons I decided Japan is Japan has a very good science. It's very powerful. I see many names, the like Nobel Prize winners all the time from Japan.
yeah,
And Shiga is also working very closely with those like very famous scholars in Japan, in university research institutes, and for other companies as well. One of the key factors that Japan should maintain is integrity. Some people think that integrity and speed cannot go together. At some point, it's true, but for Asian pharma companies, especially like Japan, we should maintain the integrity of the asset. One example is that um, the success rate of the clinical trial in phase three in the industry average, it depends on the sources and the time period, but from my understanding, it's roughly between 50 and 75% or something. And Chugai originated products has a 100% success rate of phase three. So that means Chugai has a very tough criteria to move on to the next stages and very thoroughly review the asset itself again and again from a very multiple different point of view. It's kind of like to maintain the integrity of the process and the asset as well. Sometimes it slows down, but in the end, I mean, pharmaceutical
Uh-oh, Song has frozen.
wow.
Oh, he mentioned actually there was a small earthquake, and they were
Yeesh.
Sorry,
expecting a little bit of Oh,
Here
there he
he's
is.
back.
sorry. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeesh. It's cutting
he
in and out.
earthquakes in Japan.
Right there. You're used to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Looking
so
forward.
wow.
Yeah. He's gonna
Interesting,
use he
discussion.
said he's gonna switch to his hotspot if that happens. So just give him a few.
Okay. All right. But so meanwhile, yeah, my relationship with Chugai was really back when I was running that study, and it's not the same. It really isn't the same as there's a parent company and a
Yeah.
subsidiary. Now, back in the day, it was a Genentech study, so it was actually sister companies in
Yeah.
that sense. So that was a different dynamic. But
I had no idea Genentech was in there as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
but Genentech doesn't have a Japan affiliate.
Right. Yeah.
It's basically Chugai. And back in the day, there was a
Yeah.
Roche Japan. Not anymore.
Welcome back,
Right.
Song.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yes.
it happens sometimes, but
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah. So where were we? Uh,
Where were we?
Where were we? We started.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
globalization, integrity. We were
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about 100% success rate.
yeah. That's one of the reasons I decided to come to Japan. And but unfortunately, wherever I go in other countries, I see Chinatown in the big city. Sometimes there's Korean town, but it's very rare to find a Japan town outside of in the other countries. That means I think Korea and Japan, sorry, China, these people tend to go outside very actively to leave or to study or something. But somehow Japan,
remember.
yeah, has a tendency of staying in domestic because I think it's good enough for them. It has a very huge market, good infrastructure, but
Correct.
for globalization, it needs some changes. So, for example, like someone should bridge, like bridge bio that you are doing. So someone should bridge between Japan science and the global market. So I think for as long as Asian pharma companies are focused on very strong early science, globalization is kind of inevitable to to recoup the investment eventually. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah, no, very well said. And that's kind of what it's funny. It's how Tetsu and I met was, it's like Japan has it might be slow, but Japan's culture of really like perfectionist culture is what's going to bring Japan back. And it's the unique edge that Japan really has to push. And it does sometimes unfortunately act as an obstacle, but if we're able to overcome that obstacle, and it's like people like us that are kind of working across oceans and across industries, are really going to help bring Japan
yeah,
um, into the global stage again.
mm, I see. Yeah. So I in the previous period, I worked with many early stage pharma companies very desperate to license out their assets, because that's very essential for their survive. Because to get a following investment, they have to prove that their asset is globally validated and the technology is working actually. Um, but at some point, I also felt that some of the products should be more like globally standardized, which is the globalization I mean here. So from like licensing process and also like communication and like clinical trial designs and even the human resources as well. If that those parts can be a bit more like fitting the global standard, and probably the success will be easier than before, at least yeah than now. That's my impression.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
one thing I
so one
wanted to
thing I
kind
wanted
of
to
go
kind
back
of
to,
go back to.
there's a lot of echo. Um,
For me,
yeah, there might be. Okay, I think it's good now. Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to something you mentioned. So being, I've had this experience as well, right? And being an outsider in Japan, and you mentioned a 4-year a person at a company for 4 years being a newbie versus someone at a company, for 30 years. You find a lot of veterans at Chugai, and that's very much Japanese culture, right? And it's actually um, very much under attack right now too, right? That it's stemming innovation and whatnot, and Japan has to kind of change its culture and whatnot. But being an outsider that now is in Japan, and now you're in a company that's actually very traditional, at least from what I know, Chugai is a very traditional company. Um, and what do you think about that kind of criticism that people are bringing on, that like, you shouldn't keep people around for that long, and people should be more nimble and moving between companies, and that's how you kind of um, keep the speed up with innovation and whatnot. Do you have an opinion in the last couple of years you've been in Japan?
Yeah, of course, but from what I heard, the, the younger generation have a bit higher turnover nowadays, even in Japan. But the thing is, if the company accept that as a good sign or not, because company is the one who's hiring them, right? So they should be accepted with their like fast changing career. But I think it has pros and cons, and also depends on the industry as well. So for a Japan company, I saw that lots of job postings inside of Chugai because people stay along and company wants them to experience a lot of different dimensions of the drug development and commercialization. It in the end, it's if they go through the like multiple departments to learn like different sides of the value chains, in the end it will be very very powerful. And they when they make a decision, they know what happens, before and after this position, and also very good at communicating with other departments as well. However, from the individual careers point of view, many people have some like criticism or something like that because in other countries, getting into a new company, well, several proposals are there, but one of them is to increase their salary very quickly and easily. They usually increase like certain percent of the salary from the previous company's average one. Or they can start something new with a very fresh mind, and from other side of like from pharma to biotech or biotech to the like insurance companies, something like that. So but I don't know. I was on the like more western side. But when I joined Chigai, I saw also some good points of staying long because pharma industry is very long-term industry. It's not very possible to stay 2 years to experience all the drug discovery or like manage the whole clinical trial. Sometimes it takes 5 years or 10 years, right? So to say that I'm expert on this area or that area. Let's put aside the like commercial or like marketing things. It's very very other parts. But for other like more development or clinical or other strategy or like deal parts, can we say that I am a very expertise person who are experienced in clinical trial for 3 years? And then on the resume, can I put that I am an expert and I conducted a phase 3 trial in my company? Meanwhile, my period was 2 years. It's not. That means I participated as a piece of the decision makers of the clinical trial. Sometimes I didn't even initiate, or I didn't even see the completion of the clinical trial. So I think the longer period can helpful, but again, it depends on the role and the position. For example, like deal licensing parts, it takes like 1 year to get it done, and commercial parts or like marketing parts, it's general, right? So in that part, they can. It's fine to very quickly move here and there. But for more earlier parts, I think it requires a bit of more time. My personal opinion, though.
Yeah. No, I actually think that's a very good point about just being exposed to the whole value chain, right?
Yeah.
And drug development being what it is, the product cycle is much longer than, say tech, for example. So
Right.
it makes complete sense to, raise a baby from discovery up until commercialization. And you actually know all the decision points that come along that cycle, as
Right.
well as where value is created and where value can be destroyed.
Right.
And it just completely makes sense for longer term people to be around as well, because otherwise you just know people that are focused on each step, and sometimes they don't combine into more than the sum of the parts.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So
And I think that's the strength of Japan at the same time, that I was, it kind of helps with the specialism of Japan in making kind of what we perceive as like perfect products.
that's the key.
I think over history, we see that Japan, compared to many other cultures, it's a very collective country. And from that, it means your own career, your own values, your own incentives are not necessarily what's prioritized. It's really the team's priorities that are important. Um, it has its good and bad, but as a team, Japan is usually extremely strong.
Right.
But when it comes to the individual, they have less confidence, which also I would say, explains sort of the observation that less Japanese are immigrants. Like they don't go out and establish roots outside of Japan very easily. That is changing. There are more and more Japanese that live outside of Japan now, but it took time, and I don't know. It's maybe a product of globalization, sort of like the balancing or equilibrium that's trying to take place between the Western and the Eastern, and then between Japan and the other different countries. You know, people have different tastes, different needs, and after an extended period of time, you sort of do average out. So maybe
Mm.
that's what's happening. And in that sense, Japan, many people in Japan are going global. They're prioritizing globalization. They're prioritizing going outside and taking market shares from outside of Japan. And for that, you need more of this aggressiveness, more of this individual um, incentives and whatnot. I think, right? That's where
I
we're kind of
fully,
heading.
yeah, I fully agree with you. That's true. Yeah.
Now, Song, I want to get a little bit more personal. What's
Okay.
your what's your experience been like in Japan you know as a foreigner, non-Japanese speaking foreigner?
Well, you know, the first period, like for a couple of like several months, it was quite tough because I have to register myself to the government office, which only uses a Japanese document, and I didn't know that I have to create a stamp. In Japan, there's a stamp that's to be used in all the like official documents. So
Inkan. Yes.
income, yeah. So I created that. When I was very paranoid. The or the thought that what if I lost it? What if I lose the stamp? My ID is gone. So I decided to create multiple stamps with different size. That was my another mistake I made here because I used different stamps in different documents. So and also as a Korean, coincidentally, my name has kanji name as well. I can write
Really?
down my name in kanji. So to the company, I registered my kanji name to the company. But on the residential card, I only have my English name. So whenever I try to identify myself, for example, when creating the credit card, I have to bring my employee certificate from the company and my passport together. One kanji, one written in English. So for the credit card, I got rejected like six, 7 times. Um, but the very sad point is that when I talked with the officer of the credit card company, I didn't know that I was rejected because I couldn't understand what he was talking in Japanese. So it was very sad. But that's why I decided to study Japanese, and this company supports me a lot and very strongly for that motivation as well. And company has internal like welfare system to support like half of the cost when study foreign languages. So I'm using that program as well. Um, but on the other side, uh, I before Chugai, I worked in the UK. So foods are very amazing in Japan compared to the UK actually. So all the life is very very satisfying and very enjoyable. And but sometimes when for example, when I move to a new house or anytime I have to go to the government office, it's a bit stressful. So, but on a personal level, I got married here last year.
Oh, congrats.
So that means I have to go through lots of documentations here,
Yeah.
and I'm, and I'll be a father soon. That means I have to go through again.
Oh.
Go. So
Oh.
yeah,
Passport everywhere.
yeah.
If it's not too intrusive, is she Korean or is she
Yeah.
you from UK or is she's Korean? Okay, so you're both foreigners,
Unfortunately,
so
yeah,
your child will not gain
yeah,
Japanese citizen, I mean
yeah.
Japanese citizenship right away. Maybe
But
an easy way to do that is just go back to get married in Korea. That might save you a lot of headache.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah,
Well, go
unfortunately,
back to Chugai and change your name to English.
that's the process right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's probably an easy way
Yeah.
than changing it at the government because
Yeah.
that's going to be a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I decided to use my kanji name is that at some point, if I only use the English name, I have to put my name with katakana together to
Yes.
show how it's pronounced. For some government websites or some portals, there's a limited number of letters can be put into one box. And sometimes for foreign people, the katakana name is too long, then it does not fit in the box. So that's why I changed my
Yours
mind.
is not that long though. Yours is fine.
Yeah,
Not like there are names that are Indian names. Some of them are quite long,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
my
which
that's
name
contains
had
a
some
lot of
issues too
katakana.
at that time. Well, no, actually, my last name is
Durahime.
very short. First name is
Durahime. Yeah,
yeah.
five
No, it's
letters.
fine.
That's
Yeah, it's fine.
doable.
yeah, yeah. So I'm learning still a lot of things right now. So okay, I need to change my name from kanji to English, and things are very
Yeah.
paper as expected.
Uh,
Uh,
it's the land of
I
contrast. Everything as as advanced and as technological as Japan is, there's still a lot of traditions that some
yeah.
good and some bad, but that doesn't change. But oh well.
But
But
there
these
is a lot
are
of
first world
predictability.
problems.
Yeah,
uh, Predictory,
yeah.
right?
First
Um,
world problems. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, what was I gonna ask? I was gonna ask. So you mentioned food. How's Korean food in Japan?
I think it's quite similar.
Okay.
Because we share some like Oriental ingredients, right? But the way of cooking and the way of eating are a bit different. But the thing is, nowadays, Korean culture is booming up in Japan together. So
Yes.
wherever I go to a Korean town, I can experience a lot of good things. Um, oh, you have middle name, yeah, yeah. Having a middle name making it worse. Yeah, making it worse. Yeah, I see. So
I don't
yeah,
know what the S stands for, but
yeah. But do you have to put your middle name together if you have middle name? I don't know. In
I
Japan.
don't think you have to. It's up to
Yeah,
you.
right.
Yeah, no, I have a middle name too. Yeah, and you just yeah. I do remember. Actually, yeah, like I would only have
See,
to use one name because of that. Yeah.
but your parents didn't want to give you a Japanese name there too. You know,
Yeah.
No.
Ibrahim Kentaro
And no, no,
No,
right, no, they would have been no.
that no, didn't fit.
If you knew my parents, no way.
So that may work very well if you come to Japan, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard you have an experience in Japan, right, Ibrahim? You spent some time in Japan.
Yeah,
Ibrahim,
yeah,
you
no. So I was born and raised in Japan, so um
As you can
yeah,
see.
no, as
oh,
a
yeah, I see. Well,
it was
yeah,
always as a foreigner, but always as an insider at the same time. So
right,
which was a
right.
fun experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
They'll make fun of
Japan.
you in the train in Japanese, but if you know what they're talking about, you could always catch them off guard.
So apparently the S is Simon. I was gonna say Sean, but close enough.
Okay, Simon. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, and but good thing is, I realized that Japan's government opens the door more wide open to the foreign people
yes,
recently, and
yes.
I took a recently I took a Japanese test which is called JLPT. Probably you don't know about that. You're native, but for foreigners it's very important to get the degree of the JLPT test. And I visited a center. The center is only dedicated to one single level. I took a level three, and all the centers for the level three, and there were thousands of people there
Wow.
only in Tokyo, but it's happening all around the world at the same time, the same day. It happens in London, Seoul, or New York all the time. So yeah, I think Japan will be more like a bit more mixed. I think soon.
Well, you've only been there for 2 years.
Mm.
Um, you know, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years
Mm.
ago, uh, there's a huge influx of foreign workers into Japan now.
Wow.
It started, maybe 10, 12 years ago where you'd see the 7-Elevens with some foreign cashiers. That's where
Yeah.
it really started, I would say, where you sort of, oh, okay, there's a few foreigners around. Now you see them at the airport. You see them,
Yeah.
in companies like yourself, right? This
Yeah.
is very recent development.
Mm.
So foreign workers are taking more and more, career-based jobs, not just part-time jobs.
Yeah.
So the mix is real, and the influence of foreign workers, foreign mentality, foreign culture is it's very real, whether you like it or not. Japan is changing because of that, um, for the good, I would argue, for many aspects.
Yeah.
But we need to tidy up in other aspects. That's sort of the cost of doing business, I guess. But
Mm.
globalization is a on a project a trajectory of no return. This is
Yeah.
only going to accelerate, right?
Sure.
So
That's what I thought when I saw uh quote unquote, I'm sorry to say, foreigner making my tempura in Japan. And I was like, so now it's like, oh wow. Now you're seeing
yeah,
shokuni or like,
yes.
apprentices. And
Hmm.
that's when I was like, okay, Japan is really modernizing now, finally.
Yeah,
And that was like
finally.
not at my time. And it was like finally when I came, would visit Japan. Obviously, I go back time to
Yeah.
time,
Mm.
and that's when I finally noticed it.
Sure. Sure. I think
Yeah.
it's a good change, considering the Japan's position.
So,
Still,
so the stuff,
mm,
some of the things that you're saying, about the government, how it's still very difficult to get, this document, that document. But think about it, it's getting better already, a lot better than 5 years ago. You're
that's what.
still you're on the tail end of the difficulty there, but I'm sure with all these people coming in, you're not the first one, feeling the stress. and the government side is also feeling the stress, and things are changing. In our industry, regulations changing.
Mm,
PK requirements for Japanese patients, things like that. Sending your NDA in English. All these things are changing
mm,
to accommodate the global way of doing business. Right.
right. See. Mm. Yeah, yeah, definitely I'll stay longer here to see that change in Japan.
You're part of the change. You're
Yeah,
part of
yeah, sure.
what's driving the change.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you were the first non-Japanese speaking at Chugai, right?
In Chugai
Really?
headquarters, yes, that's what I
At
heard
Chugai
from
headquarters. Wow.
our, yeah, there could be a couple, but I heard currently I'm the only one
Wow.
in headquarters. But Chugai has some other like
Really?
centers, manufacturing centers. There could be some other non-Japanese speakers as well. I don't know how they're
Yeah.
managing their day-to-day life, but in headquarters, it's more like modernized, more like westernized, and many people have experience in Roshu and other foreign universities as well. They are more, open to this. But I noticed that if a non-Japanese speaker is living in other local area of Japan and working at the facilities there, it's going to be very tough, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, that's surprising to me. I thought there would be a lot more foreign uh, office workers at headquarters. So
Yeah,
so you're the only one?
I am the only one non-Japanese speaker, but there are many foreigners who
Ah,
have
okay.
level of Japanese, like
Oh,
manager.
I see, I see.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, at the research center, I knew a few friends, a
yeah,
German guy.
right.
They were at the research center.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I heard when I first joined. I can be wrong for now, but when I first joined 2 years ago, that's what I heard. There was only one non-Japanese speaker. So when joined, HR department had to recreate the manual or guidance of, for me
Just for you.
day. Yeah, on the first day. But thankfully, there was a Korean guy working in the HR department, so
okay.
he worked closely with me.
So that's amazing because you convinced them
Yeah,
to take
yeah.
you. So that's a pretty big accomplishment. So congrats.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah.
Were you hired in the UK and brought back to Japan, or did you
The
do your interviews from the UK?
Yeah, I was in the UK and I got contacted by a headhunter working for Chugai, and he introduced me
Oh,
to
I see.
Chugai. And then I heard he said that Chugai is now looking for a kind of like one global talent. The talent has a global experience outside. And then yeah, I am the first case for that. And I don't know, probably I'm the pilot program in this company. But I'm
So,
really enjoying it.
there's no more following you than you know how well you performed.
I really want to recruit one more non-Japanese speaker to share this burden. Uh, the working culture is very amazing. It's more than my expectation. In just for headquarters, I have no experience in other sites, but uh, and also another very uh, surprising is that all the companies I experienced or I saw has their motto called patient centricity or patient centric or like something for patients or something. But I joined an event inviting the actual patients. Of course, they are all anonymized. We cannot ask any kind of like medical questions or anything. We can just
Mhm.
hear their voice. But listening to the patients, the real voice, was very refreshing for me, and it just energized again to rethink about the reason I'm working here. So those kind of like working culture is very motivating for the whole people. And of course, there were a couple of people who were doing the translation for me, but it's been changed and it's already very amazing level. But for the globalization, of course, bit of way to go still.
There's going to be more. I mean, Chugai. So Doug says there was another non-Japanese speaker at the research center in Shizuoka, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about Detlef from Germany. He
Oh,
was my MBA classmate back in the day. He retired a few years ago, but yeah. So it's not you're not the first, but at the headquarters you're probably the first, and hopefully you're not going to be the last. There's going to be more and more. And you
yeah.
guys going to be a global company within Japan.
Hopefully, yeah. And
With
yeah,
your help too, right?
I'll
Yeah.
do my best, of course. Yeah. And come to Japan to see me someday. Both of
Yeah,
you.
no, definitely.
I'm going to be there in March, so that hopefully
Oh,
we'll do something together. And
okay.
while you go again in July, definitely be there again for Bio Japan in the fall.
Oh,
Um,
really? Okay.
I'm going to travel more and more with my work. I think, I hope, I wish.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't come in summer. I
Well, that's not my preference. I understand. But it is Detlef that he was talking about. The famous Detlef. He must be sneezing. I don't know if you have this expression, but in Japan, we say that if somebody's talking about you, you sneeze. When you start sneezing, you think somebody's talking about you somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right,
Um,
so we're gonna have to wrap up pretty soon. I
yeah.
don't know if you have any hot topics, Ibrahim. Don't open another 2 hour can of worms. But
No, this is a short one actually. Song, you were mentioning
hey,
you're organizing a tour um of the
Yeah. For
are
yeah.
we allowed to mention that?
yes. Tell our audience about that.
So yeah, so I forgot to mention this. So Chugai is less known to the Western like key players compared to its influence and technology level. So we are trying to let ourselves more known to them to be more to have a global presence. And one of the things that we try to do is I did it once actually, just one round last year, late last year. There was some MBA schools doing the field trip in all around the world during their vacation, and some of them visited in Japan. So I invited them to our facility to give them a tour. It was quite nice to exchange some insights because they have very good insights, and also the dean of the school came together. So exchanged very fruitful discussion together. And I don't know, for other channels, probably we can do more. And other like our like partner and department members are doing a very good, nice public appearances in other conferences as well. And our CEO started on the JP Morgan earlier this year. So we will push more to make ourselves known to the key players to be more influential. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's great news. Um, there's we've been talking about this quite a bit. Collaboration between Japan and the rest of the world is only accelerating, and being one of the biggest Asian pharmas out there. Chugai is definitely a place for global companies to come visit and exchange with and collaborate with. And I remember you mentioned Chugai is has a very wide scope. As long as it's technology and cutting edge science, then you are open to looking at it. And so I invite everybody to talk to Song, reach out to Song for any type of innovation, open innovation discussions, and let's accelerate further this collaboration between Japan and the rest of the world through BioBridge.
Uh,
All right.
Excellent.
You're
And
right,
how
Rich.
how should people get in touch with you? How do you prefer?
Yeah, you can very simply contact me through LinkedIn as well. I'm checking on a daily basis. And also, if necessary, I will share my email address as well. But LinkedIn is quite fast as well for me.
Great.
Yeah.
Indeed, LinkedIn's the way to go. And as you probably have noticed, uh, LinkedIn penetration in Japan is still very low,
Yeah.
but that also is accelerating. I see new accounts from my Japanese friends and colleagues popping up every day. So
Yeah,
that's also a sign that to gauge the acceleration of globalization in Japan.
mm, that's true.
All right.
And also,
So there you
thanks
go.
thanks to Fook and Douglas too for participating too together.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for Doug and Fook for commenting.
Thank you very much. And we will. This is live right now, but it stays on LinkedIn and YouTube, and we'll be cutting little bits and pieces, that shorts that'll be popping up on your feed in the coming weeks. All right.
Sure.
Thank you so much for taking the time, share your expertise, your experience,
My
and
pleasure.
hopefully we'll do this again.
Great. Sure.
Thanks,
Of
Song.
course. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much for hosting.
Thank you, everybody. Take
See you
care. We'll
everyone.
see you next time.
See you next time.